He ran barefoot into the storm, leaving behind a father's threats and a past that called him sick for wanting what felt real. One night, one door, one forbidden touch, and suddenly Noah was standing in the arms of the only man who dared to see him whole. But secrets never stay hidden when hatred hunts in the rain. A knock at midnight, fists slammed in darkness, a father's voice like poison. Bring him back or bury him. Ethan stood between Noah and the lies that broke them, both fists bruised, promises whispered in half-lit rooms, lips that tasted like defiance when the world demanded shame. A single lighter in his pocket, a memory he can't burn. He vanished into the trees, heart raw, hope bleeding under thunderclouds. Will the storm swallow them before they ever find each other again, or will he choose to run back and trade freedom for one more forbidden breath? Would you risk it all for one last touch in the dark? I always knew my father's voice could break walls. That night it broke me instead. I sat in the dark at my desk, the glow of my laptop burning my eyes as I read the last message. When you're ready to stop pretending, you know where to find me. Ethan's name, Ethan, my father's old friend, his ghost, his threat, his temptation. I didn't hear the footsteps at first. I only felt the door when it slammed open so hard the wall shuddered. The hallway light cut across my floor. My father stood there, fists clenched, eyes darting to the screen behind my shoulder. What's this? His voice was too quiet. That was always worse. Nothing. I moved to close the lid. His hand hit the table so hard my coffee mug fell, shattering on the carpet. You think him blind? His finger jabbed the open chat window, Ethan's last message still bright. You think I don't know what filth this is? Daddy grabbed my wrist so tight my skin burned. You shame me. You shame this family. Did you think I wouldn't find out? Did you think you could crawl into a man's bed and hide it under my roof? His breath smelled like cold coffee and rage. I tried to pull free, but he twisted my arm. My elbow cracked the desk edge. Pain shot up to my shoulder. Dad, stop. He shoved me back. My chair toppled. I scrambled to my feet, heart hammering. He moved to the door, blocking it. His silhouette swallowed the only exit I had ever known. You're not leaving this room until we fix you. He said fix like I was a broken pipe, a leaking faucet. His son was a stain to be scrubbed away. I don't know where I found the strength. Maybe it was Ethan's message replaying in my skull. When you're ready to stop pretending, I ducked under his arm, shoulder hitting his ribs. He cursed, grabbed at my hoodie. I slipped out of it, half running, half sliding down the hallway. I heard my mother's voice faint, sleepy then her gasp when I slammed the front door so hard the frame cracked. The rain hit me like needles, barefoot, breathless, my pulse louder than the storm. I didn't think. I didn't look back. I vaulted over the porch railing, landed hard in wet grass, my socks soaked through in seconds. The truck keys were still in the bowl by the door. I swiped them in that moment before he could notice. I didn't even have my phone, just the keys, my jeans, my heartbeat. The truck sat under the old maple tree, half sunk in mud. I yanked the door open, slid behind the wheel. My breath fogged the windshield, hands shaking so bad I almost dropped the keys twice. Behind me the porch light flared. His shadow spilled across the yard. He shouted my name. I heard my mother's voice, pleading, then silence. The engine coughed, then caught. The roar swallowed my father's shout. I reversed so fast the tires spat mud all over the mailbox. He ran after me, one hand up like he could grab the truck from behind and drag me back inside. I hit the road, the old tires slipping on wet gravel. I didn't care. The night opened up ahead of me, empty, black, endless. I drove blind. The wipers couldn't keep up with the downpour. Every mile felt like I was peeling my skin off in strips. I replayed every word had spit at me over and over. Filth, shame, broken. Maybe he was right. Maybe I was. But I couldn't sit there and let him scrub me clean until there was nothing left. I didn't know where else to go, but I knew who. Ethan's name burned behind my eyes. My father's ghost. The man Hod vanished from every church photo, every family barbecue, every polite Sunday lie. Had messaged me first. Just one line, just enough to split my chest open. The gas tank light flickered to life. I didn't care. The road turned to dirt, then to gravel. I felt the memory before I saw the gate, the old ranch fence, half rotten, the mailbox with no name. I killed the headlights and coasted to a stop. The storm slammed against the roof, drumming like a heartbeat I couldn't calm. I sat there, engine ticking, rain hammering the hood. I could see the house through the trees, faint light in one window, maybe a fire. Maybe him. I should have turned back. I should have driven until the tank ran dry. But but I opened the door instead. The rain hit me like a slap. I pulled my hoodie tighter around me, forgetting I'd left it on the bedroom floor. Bare arms, freezing skin, mud sucked at my socks as I stumbled up the path. The porch light flickered when I stepped onto the steps. I lifted my hand to knock. The door swung open before I touched it. He stood there broader than I remembered, older than the photo my mother tore up. Gray in his beard, eyes like a winter sky. He didn't say my name. He didn't say anything at all. He just looked at me, all of me, the rain, the dirt, the terror stitched to my ribs. And then he stepped aside. The door shut behind me like a vault slamming closed. The warmth inside slapped the storm right off my skin. I stood, dripping on Ethan's old wooden floor, blinking at the soft glow of a single lamp near the fireplace. Everything smelled like smoke and something earthy like damp wood and old leather. Ethan didn't move. He watched me from a few steps away, arms crossed over his chest. His shirt clung to wide shoulders, sleeves rolled up to the elbows, veins and scars catching the light. "You look like hell," he said at last, voice lower than I remembered from that one call years ago, the call my father slammed the phone on before I could say hello. I swallowed, my throat burned. You knew I'd come. He lifted an eyebrow. Did I? He stepped closer. The floor creaked under his boots. He smelled like rain and smoke. Did you know y'd come? I opened my mouth, but no words stuck. Instead, a shiver cracked through me so hard my teeth clacked. "Christ," he muttered. He turned away, rummaged in a box by the fireplace, pulled out a faded towel and tossed it at my chest. I fumbled it, clutching the soft fabric like a lifeline. My hands trembled so bad I nearly dropped it. He gestured at a battered armchair near the fire. "Sit. You're not dripping on my floor any more than you already did." I obeyed. The chair squeaked under my weight. My wet socks squelched when I curled my feet under me. I pressed the towel to my hair, trying not to look at him at the shadows the fire carved across his jawline, the way his eyes kept flicking to my bare arms. "Is he looking for you?" Ethan asked. He didn't need to say he. We both knew, probably. I traced the hem of the towel with my thumb. "Maybe he thinks I crashed into a ditch. Maybe he hopes I did." Ethan let out a dry laugh. He knelt by the hearth, tossing another log onto the embers. Sparks floated up, catching in his beard. "Hell, come here. Hell, remember this place." I flinched. "Will you send me back?" He didn't answer right away. He poked at the fire with an iron rod, embers hissing. Then he glanced over his shoulder, eyes sharp under the fringe of dark hair. "You think I dragged you this far just to toss you out now? I dragged myself." He stood, walked past me into the kitchen. The pipes groaned as he turned on the tap. I heard the clang of a kettle, the scrape of a mug on old tile. "Why him?" I asked, voice too small for the room. "Why you? Why did you talk to me?" He came back with a chipped mug. Steam curled out, smelling like bitter tea. He set it on the small table beside me, then leaned against the wall, arms folded again. "Watching because you needed someone to remind you you're not broken," he said. His tone was almost casual. But his eyes, they were anything but. I stared into the mug, pretending the steam hid my face. "You're not exactly safe." His laugh was quiet, half broken. "You think you are?" We sat in that heavy silence while the storm battered the old cabin. My shoulders finally dropped under the towel's scratchy warmth. Ethan's eyes never left me, flicking between my face and the bruise on my wrist where my father's grip still burned. "You hungry?" he asked suddenly. I shrugged. "I don't know." He disappeared into the kitchen again. The fridge door creaked. Cans clinked. He cursed under his breath about expired soup. I almost smiled, almost. When he came back, he held out a half-empty bag of crackers, dinner of champions. I cracked one between my teeth. "Stale, perfect." He sat on the arm of the couch across from me, close enough that when I shifted my legs, my sock brushed his knee. We both froze. My chest thudded. His jaw twitched like he might say something, then he looked away. "Storm won't let up tonight," he said. His voice was lower now, rougher. "You'll have to stay." I shouldn't have felt that heat in my gut. Not then, not with everything crashing down behind me, but I did. "You want me to sleep on the floor?" I asked. My attempt at a joke cracked like thin ice. "You think I'd let you freeze on these rotten planks?" His mouth twitched. Almost a smile, almost. My eyes dropped to his hand on his knee-scarred knuckles, rough fingers. I wondered what they'd feel like if they stopped. I looked back at the fire, heart hammering too loud. He stood, stretched his back, then tossed me a blanket from a battered chest in the corner. "Couch pulls out," he said. "It'll stay up. You don't have to babysit me." His eyes caught mine, then really caught them, like hooks in soft skin. "Maybe I want to." The storm howled like a living thing outside. Inside, all I heard was my heartbeat, the faint hiss of the kettle cooling on the stove, and the quiet way he stood there like he wanted to say more, but knew it would break something neither of us was ready to fix. I didn't sleep much that night. The couch creaked every time I shifted, old springs whining under my ribs. Outside, the storm never stopped, wind like claws scraping the siding, rain hammering the roof in waves. I pulled the blanket tighter, but my skin still felt cold where his eyes had lingered hours before. I heard him moving. Boards groaned under his weight somewhere near the kitchen. A mug clinked on the counter. I turned my head, just enough to see him leaning against the fridge, one hand wrapped around that same chipped cup. "You can't sleep either?" I asked, voice hoarse. His eyes flicked over. The corner of his mouth twitched like it wanted to be a smile, but gave up halfway. "Didn't think y'd still be awake." I sat up, blanket falling into my lap. "Did you think I'd run again?" He didn't answer. Just pushed off the fridge and crossed the room. He moved like someone who didn't want to make noise, but couldn't help it, all weight and purpose, like the house bowed to him as he passed. He sat on the arm of the couch again, close enough that I could smell the smoke still clinging to his shirt. For a second neither of us spoke. The clock on the mantel ticked. My pulse drowned it out. "Why'd you really come here, Noah?" he asked low. "I didn't know where else to go." "That's not what I asked." I met his eyes, the shadows in them, the questions. The flicker of something that shouldn't have been there, or maybe always was. "You messaged me first," I said. "You opened that door." He let out a breath that sounded too much like a laugh. "I shouldn't have. Then tell me to leave." He didn't move, didn't blink, just looked at me like he was trying to see every lie I'd ever told myself. His hand lifted slow, careful, until his fingers hovered over my wrist, the bruised skin still raw. He didn't touch it. "Not yet." "You want me to?" he asked. I didn't, God, I didn't, but I said nothing. The silence between us thickened, filled with the storm's hungry voice. He pressed his thumb to the inside of my wrist, gentle, barely there. My breath caught. Heat shot up my arm, coiled in my chest. "You're shaking," he murmured. "Am not cold." His laugh quiet, broken. He shifted off the arm of the couch, dropped to one knee in front of me. His thumb traced the bruise like it was something holy. I hated how my skin burned for more. "You have any idea what you're doing?" he asked. "No," I swallowed. "Do you?" He didn't answer. His hand slid up my arm slow, so slow I thought I'd go mad before he reached my shoulder. His palm rested there, heavy and warm, grounding me in a way nothing ever had. I leaned forward before I knew I'd moved. Our foreheads brushed. His breath tasted like weak coffee and something darker, something I couldn't name. I shouldn't he started, then daunt, but he didn't pull back. His nose grazed mine, my lips parted. My whole body buzzed like I'd touched a live wire. Outside, thunder cracked. Inside, his mouth found mine soft at first, like he was giving me a chance to run. I didn't. I pressed closer, fingers bunching the fabric of his shirt. His other hand cupped the back of my neck, rough palm against damp hair. The kiss deepened, still hesitant, like we both knew it shouldn't happen, but couldn't stop tasting what the storm made us brave enough to claim. When he pulled back, we both stayed there, noses brushing, breath mingling. His eyes were darker than the room behind him. "This is a mistake," he whispered. Then don't stop. His hand slid down to my chest, feeling my heartbeat slam against his touch. He kissed me again, harder this time, angrier, like he was trying to burn it out of us both, but a floorboard creaked. He froze. I heard it too, the unmistakable thud of footsteps outside the window. A shape moved behind the thin curtain. Headlights flared through the rain. He pulled back, breath ragged, eyes wide. "Get upstairs," he hissed. "Who now, Noah?" He pushed me off the couch, toward the hallway that led to the old staircase. I stumbled up the first step, heart hammering. Behind me, he yanked the front door open, stepping into the storm like he belonged there more than he belonged inside. I pressed my back to the stair wall, breath locked in my throat. Through the crack between the banister and the wall, I saw him stand on the porch, broad shoulders squared, hair plastered to his forehead. A man's voice boomed through the rain. "I know he's here. Send him out, Ethan. This ends tonight." My blood turned to ice. My father's man, or worse. Ethan didn't move, didn't flinch. His voice cut back like a blade. "He's not yours to drag home any more." And for the first time that night, I wondered if I was ready for what it would cost to finally be seen. I pressed myself deeper into the shadows of the stairwell. The rain roared against the roof, but I could hear every word, every heartbeat pounding through the rotten wood. Ethan stood on the porch like a wall built of storms and old sins. The man at the bottom of the steps, I knew him. A. Clark, my father's loyal hound, always the first to nod along when my father preached about cleansing what was unclean. I could see the glint of his flashlight cutting across Ethan's chest, the rain running in rivulets down Ethan's neck. "I told you he'd crawl to you someday," Clark said, voice smug under the storm. "He's weak, he's filthy, and you your worse for opening your door. Go home, Clark." Ethan's tone was stone. His hand braced the door frame like he was ready to slam it in Clark's face. "You have no claim here." Clark laughed sharp, mocking. "I'm not leaving without him. You think his father's just gonna sit in that house and pray it away. He wants his boy back, clean, fixed." Something in me snapped at that word. Fixed, like I was a broken pipe, leaking shame all over my father's clean floors. I shifted on the stairs, old wood creaking under my socked feet. Clark's head jerked up. There he is. He pointed the flashlight straight at my face. I flinched, blinking spots out of my vision. "Come on out, Noah. Be a good son for once." Ethan moved, blocking the light. "You take one more step on this porch, what, old man? You'll hit me," Clark sneered. "You gonna fight for him now, huh? We all know what you are. You always were poison to this town." Ethan's fists curled. For a second I thought head swing, but he didn't. He looked back at me instead, his eyes finding mine through the dark, his jaw tight. "Stay," his look said. "Stay inside," but Clark kept pushing. "He's a boy. You're dragging him down with you. You think this is love, this is corruption, this is filth." My chest burned. I stepped off the stairs before my brain caught up. "Shut up." Clark's flashlight swung back to me, his mouth twisted in a smile that made bile rise in my throat. "Look at him, dripping wet like a stray dog. You should see your mother. She's crying her eyes out for you, Noah. Think she wants you here with this. Shut up." I said it louder, my voice cracking under the rain's roar. Ethan stepped forward, blocking Clark's path. Their shoulders nearly touched, water dripping off both men like they were carved from the same storm. Clark didn't back down. He leaned in, so close I wondered if he could smell the whiskey that always clung to Ethan's breath. "You want keep him," Clark said. "One way or another, his father's gonna take him back, over my dead body. Maybe that's exactly how he wants it." For a heartbeat, everything froze, just rain, breath, thunder in the distance. Then Ethan's fist connected with Clark's jaw, a dull crack that felt too loud for the porch. Clark stumbled back, slipped on the slick steps, cursed as he caught himself on the railing. Inside, I could only watch. My legs felt bolted to the floor, but my chest screamed to move, to run, to do something. "You just signed your own damn warrant," Clark spat, wiping blood from his lip. He pointed at me again, not at Ethan this time, at me. "You get your ass out here, now." I didn't. Ethan stepped back into the doorway, chest heaving. "Go home." Clark's eyes burned. He turned, boots splashing through mud, as he stomped back to his truck. The headlights flared, blinding me through the open door. I heard the engine roar, gravel spit, then the tail. Lights vanished into the black trees. Ethan slammed the door so hard the window rattled. He stood there dripping, his breath loud in the quiet that followed. His knuckles were split, blood and rain mixing on his skin. I took a step forward. "He's going to tell my father." Ethan turned, eyes cutting through me. "I know he's going to come. I know. I wanted him to say it's going to be fine, but he didn't lie." He just crossed the room in 3 strides, grabbed my face with rough, trembling hands. "Why did you come here, Noah?" he rasped. "Why me? Why this?" "Because there's nowhere else." The words slipped out before I could swallow them. "Because you didn't lie to me." He let out a sound, not quite a laugh, not quite a sob. His forehead pressed to mine, his breath hot despite the cold dripping off him. "This want and clean, I know." His thumb traced the bruise on my jaw, the one my father had left. His eyes flicked to my mouth. I wanted him to close that distance again. I needed it like oxygen, but he pulled back. "Get upstairs, dry clothes, lock the door if you have to. You'll come up." He didn't answer. He just turned, wiped the blood off his knuckles with the hem of his shirt. He looked like a man deciding whether to stand his ground or burn the whole place down before they could take it. I lingered by the stairs, one hand on the banister. Thunder cracked somewhere deep in the woods. I swear, for a second, I almost saw my father's shadow in that flash of lightning, standing at the tree line, waiting. I didn't sleep. The rain never let up, hammering the old roof like a warning I couldn't outrun. I sat on the edge of Ethan's narrow guest bed, knees pulled up to my chest, wearing a threadbare shirt that smelled like him, smoke and soap, and a life my father would burn to the ground if he could. I heard the floor creak hours before dawn, heavy steps. I knew it was Ethan before he even knocked. The door swung open without waiting for permission. He stood there in the half, dark, shoulders broad, hair damp from another trip to the porch. "You should try to sleep," he said. I almost laughed. "I can't." He stepped inside, closed the door behind him. For a moment he just stood there, looking at me like he was memorizing something he didn't want to admit he'd miss. "He'll come," I said, voice raw. "My father, Clark, whoever else, I know. Maybe I should just go." Ethan's jaw clenched. "Go where?" "Back to him. You think you'll be safer in that house. At least he wouldn't hurt you." The words fell out before I could stop them. He laughed sharp and bitter, too late for that. I swung my legs off the bed. My bare feet hit the cold floor. He didn't move when I stood in front of him, didn't step back when I pressed a palm to his chest. His heart slammed under my touch. "This is wrong," I whispered. "Yeah." His hand came up, cupped my neck, thumb brushing my jaw. It always was. I tilted my head, our foreheads nearly touching. His breath tasted like stale coffee and something warmer, deeper. My lips parted, but no words came. His eyes searched mine, hungry and haunted at once. Outside, I heard the rumble of an engine. Headlights flared through the crack in the old curtains. Ethan stiffened. He stepped back, the heat of his hand gone from my skin. "Noah'll leave the hell you will." I pushed past him. He caught my wrist. I jerked free. The front door banged open as I stumbled down the stairs, my pulse a roar in my ears. The headlights outside blinded me when I hit the porch. Rain hit me like needles, soaking the borrowed shirt to my skin. I didn't see who it was, didn't care. I bolted into the night, feet slamming mud, breath tearing my lungs raw. Behind me, I heard Ethan shout my name once. Twice, then the slam of a door. An engine roared, tires on wet gravel. I didn't stop. I found the old shed out back, rusted metal walls and a leaking roof. I pressed my back against it, chest heaving. Somewhere close I heard voices, Ethan's low and sharp, another louder, demanding, "Clark, my father." I couldn't tell any more. My fingers curled around the cold edge of the shed's door. I pushed inside, darkness swallowing me whole. Rain dripped through the holes above. I pressed my forehead to my knees, fighting the urge to scream. Minutes or hours passed. I heard footsteps again, boots squelching in the mud outside. The door creaked open. A flashlight beam hit my face. I flinched. "It's me," Ethan rasped. He stepped inside, crouched in front of me, hand on my knee. "Jesus, Noah, what are you doing?" "Saving you," I croaked. He laughed harsh and low. "You think you can save me? You're a kid running from a manhole, never let you go. And you want to save me?" I looked up, throat tight. "Then what do we do?" He pulled me up by the elbows, dragged me into his chest. Rain dripped off his jacket onto my hair. His hand slid up my neck, fingers threading into the back of my damp hair. "This is all wrong," he whispered into my ear, then stop. He didn't. His mouth found mine rougher this time, desperate. My hands bunched his shirt at the shoulders, clinging like I'd drown without him. He kissed me like he hated himself for it, teeth scraping my lip, breath ragged. Thunder cracked overhead. The shed walls rattled. We pulled back just enough to breathe, foreheads pressed together. "I can't lose you to him," Ethan rasped, then daunt. His hand slid under the edge of my borrowed shirt, warm against cold skin. I shivered, not from the rain. My breath hitched. He stopped, his eyes searching mine, asking a question we both knew the answer to. Outside, a car door slammed. Voices rose closer this time, too close. Ethan stiffened, pulled away, shoved me behind him like a shield head die holding. "You stay here," he ordered. "Ethan, stay." He stepped out into the storm, leaving the shed door cracked enough that I could see him, see the flashlight beams swinging through the dark yard. Clark's voice carried angry, mocking. My father's voice answered, low and cold. I pressed my hand to my mouth to keep from making a sound as Ethan stood there, a wall of wet denim and fury between me and everything I ran from. I knew right then that whatever we were, it was going to break us both. I don't remember moving. One moment I was pressed against the rusted shed wall, heart slamming my ribs to splinters. The next I was peering through the crack where the door didn't quite shut. Rain blurred everything, but I saw Ethan, broad shoulders squared, fists at his sides. My father stood in the yard, coat plastered to his frame, hair slicked back by the downpour. Beside him, Clark hunched under an umbrella, a cruel half smile curving his mouth. "You think you're a hero, Ethan," my father called. His voice sounded wrong out here, too soft, like a threat whispered under your door. "You think you're saving him. Look at yourself. Hiding in this rotting box you call a home, corrupting a boy who does no better." Ethan didn't flinch. "You're not dragging him back into that prison. He's not yours to break any more," my father laughed. It was worse than shouting, that hollow sound echoing off trees and rusted metal. "You think you know him. He's a child, a foolish, weak child. Hell, run back to me the second you're gone." He stepped forward. I could see the rain dripping off his chin. "Noah, come here now. I won't ask again." My legs locked. My lungs forgot how to work. My father's eyes flicked to the shed, like he could see through walls and ribs and bone. Ethan shifted half, blocking the line of sight. He doesn't belong with you, my father spat. He's sick because you made him sick. Ethan barked a laugh that sounded like gravel and glass. You did that all on your own. Clark stepped closer, umbrella tipping just enough to let rain slap his collar. Be smart, Ethan. You think you're winning anything here. You think you'll still be standing when the sheriff gets here. You think we don't know what this looks like. My father's face twisted. Bring him out, or I swear. Ethan didn't move. Instead he turned, and for a split second his eyes found mine through the crack. I knew what he saw, soaked, shivering, the bruise on my throat shining purple under the half-light. Stay, his eyes said. Please, but my body wouldn't listen. The shed door creaked when I pushed it open. My father's head whipped around. Clark's grin spread wider. Noah. My father's voice was sugar now, poisoned sweet. Come home. I stepped out into the rain. Cold sliced through me, but Ethan's hand caught my wrist, pulled me back into the shield of his chest. You don't have to, he murmured into my hair. Yes, I do. My voice broke, but not the way he wants. I turned, pressed both hands to Ethan's face, rough stubble, warm skin under the rain. He flinched at my touch like it burned him. Don't, he rasped. I ignored him. I kissed him instead there in the open yard, with my father's voice cracking behind us like thunder made of rage. Ethan froze for half a heartbeat, then he kissed me back. Not careful this time, not gentle, like he was trying to brand me into his bones before they ripped me away. Clark swore under his breath. My father's shout fractured the moment. Enough. He strode forward. Ethan shifted, shoving me behind him. Get inside. No, I'm not hiding. You have to. You're not doing this alone. Clark stepped forward too, hands out like he could snatch me by the collar. Let's not make this uglier than it has to be. It already is. I snapped. My chest felt too tight for my ribs. You want to drag me back, chain me in the basement again, watch him fix me with sermons and locked doors. I'd rather drown out here. My father's jaw clenched. I'd never seen his eyes so black, so empty. Don't you dare speak to me that way. Ethan's hand found mine behind his back, fingers lacing through mine like a promise he couldn't keep. His other hand clenched at his side, knuckles white. Last chance, Clark warned. Let him go. Step aside. Ethan leaned his head back just enough to murmur, when I move, run for the truck. I'm not leaving you, don't argue. A flash of lightning turned the yard to daylight for a heartbeat. In that frozen second I saw everything. Clark's hand dipping inside his coat, my father's shadow leaning forward, Ethan's shoulders tensing. Then thunder, then chaos. Ethan shoved me so hard I stumbled. Clark lunged for me, for Ethan, I couldn't tell. Hands grabbed my arm, yanking me back. I kicked, slipped in the mud, nearly fell. Ethan's fist slammed into Clark's jaw. The umbrella flew, rain swallowed everything. My father's voice bellowed behind me. Noah, I tore free, boots slamming into mud. I ran past the shed, past the truck, chest burning. Ethan's shout carried through the storm. Noah, go. I didn't look back until I reached the old fence. When I did, I saw Ethan standing in the storm, blood on his lip, Clark on the ground at his feet, my father at the porch, shouting something I couldn't hear. I pressed my palm to the wet wood, breath-breaking. I wanted to run back, to pull him with me, but the look Ethan gave me then bruised, defiant said go. Said leave. I turned and vanished into the trees before my courage could drown in the rain. Branches tore at my arms as I ran, rain slicking my skin, cold burying itself deep in my chest. Behind me, the house shrank into darkness, voices and shouts swallowed by the storm. Ethan's name pulsed in my skull like a drum I couldn't quiet. I stumbled onto the old dirt road, mud sucking at my boots. The truck was too far. I had no keys, no plan. Just breath and fear and the taste of him still on my lips. A single pair of headlights cut through the rain behind me. Not Clark, not my father. I ducked into the trees again, pressing my back to soaked bark, heart pounding so hard I thought it would give me away. The car passed. Silence rushed back in. My hands shook as I pressed them to my mouth. I thought I could still feel his heartbeat under my fingers. The way head held me behind his back, a shield head rather break than let crack. I could still see the look in his eyes. Run, live, don't look back. I sank to my knees in the wet leaves. Lightning flashed somewhere far behind me, maybe back at the house, maybe in my head. I wanted to scream, but the storm stole the sound. Somewhere out there he was still standing, fighting or bleeding or both, for me, for something we'd never get to name out loud. I pulled the thin chain from my pocket, his lighter, warm even in this cold. He must have slipped it there before he pushed me away. My fingers curled tight around it like a promise. I pressed my forehead to my knees. The rain ran down my back, seeping into my bones. Maybe he'd find me again, maybe I defind him, or maybe we'd drown in different storms, carrying each other's ghosts like a secret too heavy to bury. When I stood, the trees swallowed me whole. The old road stretched ahead, black, hungry, endless. I stepped forward anyway, and didn't look back.